Well, today it's Team Gryffindor. Okay, so you probably know the jam. This is the third video in the series, so you probably know which one's gonna be last. Yeah, but never mind. If you're new here, I'm doing that series, book recommendations according to your house, that fit actually the prompts of the Magical Readathon OWLs hosted by G over at Book Roast. So that's basically it. Let's just jump into it. As usual, I'm prepared with my iPad here, and I see Gryffindors as very loyal people as well, like as much as the Hufflepuffs, for instance. But also I see them as very adventurous people. I feel like they love adventure and they don't really care about the danger. It's not like they're dumb or stupid or whatever, they just focus on having fun, and they don't especially like analyze the situation like the Ravenclaws would do. I think they're really fun friends to have, to hang out with, and they will find very funny solutions to your problems. Not always the to the point solution, but more like let's have some fun while fixing that situation kind of solution. They're brave, yeah, for sure, bravery, blah blah blah, but I feel like they're reckless too. So I'm gonna focus on these characteristics for the books I picked actually. So yeah. For Ancient Runes, you had to pick a book with heart in the title or a heart on the title. For that, on the title, wow, on the cover, that's what I meant. For that, I picked Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton because it has to do with trust your heart even if it kills you. So trust what your guts are telling you kind of thing, like a Gryffindor will do, will jump into something and they don't even think about the consequences or all the dangers or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just people feeling what they're feeling and going with it. So yeah. And also Heart of Iron. Why that? Because it is a retelling, a sci-fi retelling of Anastasia, but it has to do with spicy pirates kind of thing, and that crew is just one of the bravest I know. A bit reckless for sure, but the captain is actually a very smart person who tries to like, okay, that's a good idea, but that's a bad idea because that, so you're not gonna do that, you know what I mean? And she's a she. The captain is a woman, and I love that. For Arithmancy, you need to pick a book that's quite opposite of what you usually read. So a book that's outside of your comfort zone, basically. Something that a Gryffindor really goes for. I picked Skyward because a lot of people are not into sci-fi, and I don't get why, because sci-fi is one of the best genres out there. But it is a mild sci-fi, it is a YA sci-fi. So it's not like an adult heavy sci-fi, it's Brandon Sanderson. I read it in no time. It is a huge book, but believe me, I started that book and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read like 50 pages or so and then I'm gonna go for a run or whatever. I was in Boston at that time doing the OWLs last year, and I started that book and actually finished it in no freaking time. I was so surprised. It has to do with a girl who wants to do something but she cannot because actually her father actually was on duty but he left, so he was called a coward, and they don't want to train her in order to become a pilot, in order to save them from the aliens, because they don't want to spend that much money in her if she could be like her father. So yeah, she cannot do that because they don't want her to do so, but something is gonna happen. She's gonna make it in some way, and lots of stuff are gonna happen. So I highly recommend that one. Seriously, if you're not into sci-fi but want to try sci-fi, that's also a good way to start. The Bear and the Nightingale, because it has to do with Russian folklore. I feel like it's perfect because the main girl is very brave, and I love that story because it's heartwarming. Like Gryffindors love adventures, but they love also the warmth of their home or friends, etc., you know, the comfort zone kind of thing. And that's how I felt while reading that book. It's all about family, and you have to be open-minded while reading that book because it has like old Russian folklore stories that have some kind of let's say that the women are not what they are today. They're not allowed to be anything else than just like the mother kind of thing, and you just had to accept that in that book in order to really enjoy that book. But really, I loved it with all my heart. It's so, I don't know, brilliant and magic, and you have wintry settings. It's absolutely just amazing, and the writing style, etc. I highly recommend that one. You could also go with Gone with the Wind because she's brave, or you could go with Illuminate because it's also a bunch of people just going and not thinking through all the time, but very entertaining. But yeah, I really love that series too. And if you want to try some middle grades, I highly recommend The House with Chicken Legs. This is basically the story of a girl who has been told her entire life that she has to become one thing. You know, as a kid, she disagrees and she wants to be that kind of rebel because she doesn't understand the consequences, and read it. Then for Astronomy, you have to pick books that you will read mostly at night. Basically, that's it. So it could be any book. I picked a few. So The Bear and the Nightingale, because I really feel like folklore, you know, Russian folklore is some kind of fairy tales that you could easily enjoy before going to bed. Skyward as well, because yes, it is a sci-fi, it is a huge book, but it's really easy to enjoy and a flip through kind of thing. So yeah. And the third one is Never Tell, another middle grade book. I really believe that middle grades are great books for like readathons kind of thing, because you read them faster, they're usually shorter, they're usually fluffier kind of thing, easier to read. So I really recommend these kind of books as well. Then for Cure of Magical Creatures, you need to read a book with some kind of beak on the cover. Could be a beak from a bird, a beak from an octopus, a beak from a mythical creature, blah blah blah. So I picked two books. So I picked Ariadne's and Never Tell. Ariadne's is about fighting for your people, which I feel would be a Gryffindor aspect of it, because they would do no matter what. Like the Hufflepuffs, they will do it, but all together, so the people will suffer as much as they will sacrifice kind of thing. Ravenclaws will be like, okay, let's find a solution. Slytherins will be, okay, I'm gonna do that, but what am I getting out of it? And then Gryffindors will just go for it. And same for this one, except that this is the story of an 11-year-old Lena who has never seen the world beyond the prison camp until the night she escaped with her best friend Bogdan. So it is a Russian story kind of thing with a wintry setting. She's escaping a camp at only 11. If that's not bravery, I don't know what it is. For charms, you basically have to pick a book with a white cover. For that, I picked A Darker Shade of Magic because of course, it had to be in one of my TBRs because it's one of the best fantasy I've ever read. I really love the world building. I really love the characters. I really feel like one of the characters, I'm not gonna say the name of that character, but that character is freaking reckless, very brave, but stupid, and she's gonna do stuff and she's gonna think after. So definitely Gryffindor. And I picked also that one, In the Nightwood by Dale Bailey, because it has to do about facing your fears. A couple is going through some kind of mourning because they lost their kid. A literary puzzle box that definitely mixes a scary, nasty folk take of the 19th century. An affecting, weirdly and haunting book about the shackles of grief. I feel like you need to be brave in order to face grief, etc. And what the characters are going through is really interesting in that book, and the way it's described is really deep. It has nothing to do with the Hazelwood for some sort, even if it made me think of it because of the title and because of the setting kind of thing. It has nothing to do with it. Defense against the dark arts. You need some kind of sea occurs in the story, and for that I picked Daughter of the Pirate King because I feel like she's more Slytherin than Gryffindor, but I feel like the overall story is about bravery, and although she's doing stuff for herself, she's kind of fighting her father, and she's going through the authority. She's going against the authority, and I feel like that's very Gryffindor of her. So she's like a Gryffindor Slytherin kind of person. So yeah, and it's very short, so perfect for readathons. And also, if you have read that book, you could read the sequel, because yeah, even if I mentioned the first book of a series, you can continue with the series, obviously. Divination. You need to pick randomly a book from your TBR shelf, so just put it on the internet, find a website that can do it for you, or ask someone a number. You could even ask me for a number, but yeah, let me know if you need a number. For Herbology, you need a book that starts with a M. So the title starts with the M. And for that, I picked Malamander, which is a middle grade book. And it's all about adventures and friendship. And I feel like that's totally Ravenclaw, even if the cover doesn't look Ravenclaw? Did I say Ravenclaw? I mean Gryffindor. Gryffindor. That's the Gryffindor video, who will uncover the secret of the Malamander. And even if I feel like secrets, sometimes Hufflepuffs are better at secrets because they want the truth, they want the justice. Ravenclaws, they're gonna analyze everything, so they love the truth as well. But I feel like Gryffindor, they want the truth just for the adventure. Like, that's not the same purpose, you know? So yeah, history of magic, books with witches or wizards. Do I need to say more? No. I also have for you Children of Blood and Bone for that prom, because I really feel like it fits that prom, bravery, adventures, and fighting for something you find wrong or whatever with the society. And yeah, I really feel like the overall thing, it's not too dark to be Slytherin, it's not like too fluffy to be like for the Hufflepuffs. I feel like it's a healthy mix that will actually make the story more Gryffindor than anything else. And also another one that I think will fit the Gryffindor prom, maybe because of the lion, but this is Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia. I really feel it's a Gryffindor kind of story because of adventure, but also because they're fighting all together for something, but they're doing in a way like it's not just to fight for your friends, it's not to make some kind of justice, but it's fighting for everyone, and all together you're fighting against something, you're fighting for something, you're fighting with someone. I don't know, the overall story makes me feel like, makes me think of Gryffindors. Muggle study, so you need to pick a book told from a Muggle's point of view kind of thing. And for that I have two things. One might be weird because it's actually Warcross. When you say Muggles, you usually think about contemporary kind of thing. But if you read Warcross, it's a sci-fi. But it has to do with normal people, people like us using some kind of technology and ending up in a game. So basically there are humans and the story is told from a Muggle point of view. So yeah. And then the other one is Come November. Why? Yes, this is this time a contemporary, but it has to do with a girl who's gonna fight against what her mother believes in, because her mother got involved in some kind of cult and she's trying to save her brother or sister from it, because her mother believes that on November, I don't know what day, the 16th, the 15th, it doesn't matter, they're all gonna disappear. They're gonna leave her behind. So yeah. She's brave enough to go against her mother. Then we have potions, so you need to read a book with less than 150 pages. For that I picked Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. You know, the very short book, not what J.K. Rowling did after the Harry Potter series, but you know, the very short books like Beedle the Bard, because I feel creatures might be appealing to Gryffindors. And then we also have Alice in Wonderland, because she's going on an adventure, she's not gonna ask questions, she's just gonna go there. Everything is illogical, but she's gonna go with it. That's fine, nothing makes sense, but as long as I'm having fun, that's fine, right? Then we have Transfiguration. For that you need to pick books with some kind of shapeshifters in it, you know what I mean? For that I picked City of Bones because it has a lot of it, and I feel like some of the characters might be sorted in the Hogwarts Gryffindor house kind of thing. I feel like it's all about Gryffindors going and doing something that's not especially right, but they're doing so because they feel like they should do, like the guts are telling them to do so, so they're going to do it even if nothing makes sense. I feel like, yeah, it could be a Gryffindor series. I didn't enjoy that series that much. I read the 3 first books of that series, then the 2 first books of the next series, the Infernal Devices kind of thing. I think not for me, definitely not for me, but I saw some Gryffindors in that. Then there is another series where, girl, I don't know the name of the series, but this is the first book in the series. I still need to read the other books. It has to do with shapeshifters, shape-shifting, because we're girls, so werewolves kind of thing, but it's not the regular version of a werewolf. And she's doing that, like she's going through some changes in order to find the truth about something, because something is wrong in her city. Some kind of company is lying, there is some kind of like medical issue issues and experimentations, etc, etc, and she's brave enough to actually face it and see what's happening. So yeah, definitely Gryffindor. And yeah, that's it for this video, so you know which one's coming tomorrow. Let me know if you enjoyed the recommendation I gave you. If you have more recommendations, please link them down below in your comments so everyone can check if they actually read all the books I suggested, because that could happen too, because I'm not the most up-to-date person in that bookish world. I don't know why I'm making all that moves, etc. Is it really Gryffindor to talk like this and to move non-stop? I don't know, but I feel like I'm so hype right now. I should just calm down and enjoy the evening. And yeah, let me know, OWLs, if you enjoyed this video. I hope you did. But yeah, I hope you're having fun with this readathon. Let me know the career you're going for down below. That will also interest me. I think that my definite TBR will be uploaded next week, so keep your eyes open for that. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack, and that's it. Okay, now the regular speech. OWLs, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual, and until next time, take care, OWLs. Bye.